During the time of Umar radiallahu an, Abdullah is chosen again to fight against the Byzantine Empire, another great empire at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was captured and he was brought before the emperor. And the emperor said to him this: I suggest that you become a Christian. If you become a Christian, I will set you free and you'll be given safe passage. What did he reply to him? He said, death is preferable to me 1,000 times than what you ask me to do. The emperor said, I see, O Abdullah, that you are a bold man. You are a very brave man. However, more than this, if you accept this call to Christianity, I will give you a share of my kingdom and I will make you an aide of me, a governor of my kingdom. He said, by Allah, if you gave me everything that you possess and everything that the Arabs have in exchange for giving up the religion of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I would not do so. So then the emperor said, then I shall kill you. He said, do whatever you wish. So the emperor had him tied up onto a cross and he ordered his soldiers to throw spears at him near his hands and near his feet. And all the time he is throwing the spears at Abdullah, he is saying to him, accept Christianity and I will let you go. And again he is refusing and refusing and refusing to do so. Then the emperor has him taken down from the wooden cross and he calls for a pot of boiling oil, heated under a fierce fire, so the oil is absolutely scorching hot. Then he takes one of the prisoners and he puts him into the vat of oil in front of the eyes of Abdullah radiallahu anhu. And the prisoner's skin is melted from him and he dies burning in a pot of boiling oil. And then the emperor turns to Abdullah and says, now will you accept Christianity? And again he refuses. So then the emperor orders that Abdullah be thrown into the pot of boiling oil. And Abdullah begins to cry. So the emperor thinks, at last I have found something that is going to break this man. I couldn't break him by throwing spears at his hands. I couldn't break him by promising him the dunya and everything that was in it. But I found something that will break this man. He's seen a man die, having his skin melted from his face because of the oil. And now I'm going to put him in it and now he is crying. So he said, now that you're crying, become a Christian. And again Abdullah refuses and he says, so tell me, why is it that you're crying if you're refusing to be a Christian? Have you not broken? Have you not given in? Will you not accept Christianity? And Abdullah replies, I cried because I said to myself, you will now be thrown into this pot and your soul will depart. And I wished that I could have as many souls as the hairs of my body so that all of them could be thrown into this pot of oil for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this point, Abdullah broke the emperor. The emperor had nothing left, no torture left. He sees that Abdullah is crying and he's not crying because he fears death. He's crying because he doesn't have the opportunity to die again and again and again for the sake of Allah. And so the emperor says, then will you kiss my head and I will set you free? And at this time, Abdullah is thinking he has a chance for his freedom. What does he do? How selfless is this individual? That he says, what about the rest of the Muslims? Straight away his thought goes to the rest of the Muslims, not to himself. He doesn't say, okay, I've got away from it now, I can set myself free. He says, what about the rest of the Muslims? The emperor says, all of the rest of the Muslims will be free if you kiss my head. And so Abdullah kisses the head of the emperor and all of the Muslims are set free. And they return back to Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu, who is the Khalifa at the time, and they ask or they tell the story to Umar to see what Umar does. And Umar says every Muslim has a duty to kiss the head of Abdullah ibn Hudhafa and I will start. And Umar got up and he kissed the head of him. If you think of this individual, what he suffered. In his first story, what he suffered on his own. In his second story, He was threatened with death. He was promised the world. He was given everything that he could be possibly given. He was tested with a trial that absolutely of unbelievable proportions. And not only did he remain firm, but still the thing that was in his mind upon all of this is the safety of the rest of the Muslim prisoners. This is a person who sacrificed the dunya and whatever was in it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He kissed the head of the emperor, which meant nothing to him. It meant nothing in his eyes. It was a gesture of respect. But in the end, the overriding benefit was to free the Muslims. So Abdullah combined something else that we're in desperate need of in this time and age. Apart from bravery and selflessness and sacrifice and hoping for the akhirah and hating the dunya, is that he combined something else. And the thing that he combined was that he combined knowledge of the religion. So he knew that the overriding maslahah, the overriding benefit was what? Was to free the Muslims. Even if that meant a small sacrifice. So he made that very small sacrifice for the sake of a greater benefit, and he knew this would be permissible in Islam, and this was approved of by Umar radiallahu anhu.